చూద్దాం. Hi students, today we discuss a new chapter called ray optics. Okay, it's very important for objective point of view and also subjective point of view. Okay, so listen carefully. First of all, we would like to know about what is optics. Optics is a branch of physics which deals with the study of light. Okay, study of light. What is light? Light energy is form of electromagnetic radiations. We know the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, electromagnetic spectrum starts from gamma rays, X rays, UV, visible light, infrared radiations, microwaves, and radio waves. Na? If you move from gamma to radio, wavelength is increases, so frequency decreases from gamma rays to the radio waves. Is all these electromagnetic radiations is visible to our eye? No. We are see any object if it is lies within the visible region. We know in visible region we have the seven colors na Vibgya, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Okay, and what is the wavelength region of this visible light? This also we know that is from 4000 angstrom units to the 7500 angstrom units. Some books say 7000 angstrom units, someone says 7800 angstrom units. Okay, here what is one value of angstrom unit? 10 power minus 10 meter. So within this region only our eye has sensation of vision. Okay, so what is a light? Light energy is a form of electromagnetic radiations. Is it clear? Now, optics is divided into two categories. One is ray optics, another one is wave optics. Okay, in ray optics, wavelength of light is very small compared to size of object, then only the ray optics is applicable. Okay, in ray optics the wavelength of light we know from 4000 angstrom unit to 7500 angstrom units, we said now that wavelength is very small compared to the size of the object. So if the size of the object is very large compared to the wavelength, then only it is applicable. Then only the ray optics is applicable. Here, what are the objects we consider? Here we consider the objects like lenses, mirrors, prisms, etc. Okay, they have very large in size compared with the wavelength of the light. Clear? If suppose the size of the object is comparable with the wavelength of light, comparable with size of object, then wave optics is applicable. Okay, what is the wavelength of light? It is in order of 10 power minus 10 meter na. Okay, 4000 angstrom units we said. That means 4000 into 10 power minus 10 meter na. That means object size is very small. Like just puncture a small hole on a paper with a needle. That small hole now is considered as the object here. Slit, okay, pinhole, slit is nothing but just for understanding purpose. There is always a little gap between the door and the wall now. Within that gap, light rays always comes from that gap. That gap is generally called as the slit. Okay, remember like that. So those sizes of objects are comparable with the wavelength of light, then only wave optics is applicable. Okay, so here the objects like pinhole, slit, sharp edges, for example for blade or knife edge, that edge is there now. That sharp edges are the taken as the objects for the wave optics. In ray optics, we are always considered lenses, mirrors and prisms are taken as objects. Is it clear? Ray optics also named as geometrical optics. Okay, another name for ray optics is geometrical optics. Why? Because of all laws are formulated by using the concepts of the geometry. If you are good in geometry, then ray optics is always easy to you. Are you understand? That's why ray optics is also called as the geometrical optics. Clear? Now, in ray optics, light is assumed to be traveling along a straight line. Okay? Light is assumed to be traveling along a straight line. Generally, it is called as rectilinear propagation. Okay, so in ray optics, everywhere we are using a straight line with a arrowhead. The arrowhead indicates the direction of propagation. Okay, without write the arrowhead, then it is just called as a line only. But here it is called as the ray of light. Okay, so this is light ray or ray of light. Understand now? Next, if you take a bundle of that ray of lights, then it is called as the beam of light. Okay, for suppose if you draw the diagram like this, this is called parallel beam of light because all the rays are equidistant. Okay, if suppose the light rays you draw like this, this is called divergent beam. Okay, split like this, divergent beam. If suppose all the rays are coming in this way, these are called as convergent beam. Okay, so a bundle of light rays is always called as the beam. Okay, so this is parallel beam, it is divergent beam, and this is convergent beam. Understand? So in ray optics, first of all, we would like to know about what is reflection of light. Okay, we learned in 9th class about all the concepts related to the reflection of light. What is reflection of light? Reflection of light is nothing but when a light ray When a light ray strikes the boundary of the two media, for suppose it is taken as medium 1 and it is taken as medium 2. Okay? When a light ray strikes the boundary of the two media, then a part of light is again turned back to the same medium. Part of light again turned back to the same medium, then it is called as reflection of the light. Clear? What is reflection of light? When a light ray strikes the boundaries of the two media at a point, then a part of light turned back into the same medium, then it is called as the reflection of light. Okay? Now, this is a perfect reflecting surface. Now, on the perfect reflecting surface, a light ray is incident here. Okay, this ray is called as incident ray. Understand? Now, at the point of incidence, okay, here you may draw a line that can be perpendicular to the surface of the reflecting surface. Perpendicular to the surface, if you draw a line, that is called as a normal. Normal generally represented by n. Understand? What is reflection? Any light ray will be incident on the surface, then it will be reflected back to the same medium. Na? Clear? So this ray is called as incident ray, and this ray is called as reflected ray. Now you must remember some definitions here. The angle between the incident ray and normal is always called as angle of incidence I. Angle between the incident ray and normal is called as angle of incidence. Angle between the reflected ray and normal is called as angle of reflection. Angle between reflected ray and normal is called as angle of reflection. Clear? Next, the angle made by the incident ray with the reflecting surface is called as glancing angle. Okay, it is denoted by GI. Okay, here what is I? I is incident angle or angle of incidence. R is angle of reflection or reflecting angle. GI is glancing angle. Okay, I indicates the incident ray. And here also the reflected ray makes some angle with the reflecting surface now. That angle is called as again glancing angle, but it is denoted by GR. Understand? So G is nothing but the glancing angle. Is it clear? So what is the value of GI here? See, this is normal now. Normal is always perpendicular to the surface. So total angle is 90. So can you write I plus GI as 90 degree? Then what is the value of GI? GI is nothing but I will be taken that side 90 minus I. Understand? You must be remember these definitions. One more time, what is angle of incidence? Angle between the incident ray and normal is called as angle of incidence. Angle between the reflected ray and normal is called as angle of reflection. Angle made by the incident ray with the surface is called as the glancing angle, and its value is always 90 minus I. GR value 90 minus R. Clear? Now we may discuss about laws of reflection. Those are very, very important. The first one, angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. Okay, this law is applicable to the all reflecting surfaces. Wherever you observe the reflection, you can apply these two laws. What is the first law? Angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. And the second law, incident ray, reflected ray, and normal to the surface at point of contact they lie in same plane. Incident ray, normal and reflected ray at the point of contact, okay, they are always lie in the same plane. Understand now? So this is a surface and all these are lie normal to it. Let us see the diagram once. See, this is the plane of incidence and this is the reflecting surface. On that, incident ray, normal and reflected ray are lie in the same plane. This is the original diagram. In two-dimensional only we can saw this type of diagram, but in three-dimensional we can observe this one. Here, the angle between incident ray and normal is angle of incidence. Angle between normal and reflected ray is angle of reflection. Here angle I is always equal to the angle R. Or understand? So these are called laws of reflection. Clear? Please note it down. Okay. Now let us see the vector analysis of the laws of reflection. Okay. For objective point of view, this class was very, very important. So listen carefully. Vector analysis of laws of reflection. Okay. Here our main aim is to found the unit vector r cap. R cap is nothing but here unit vector along the reflected ray. Okay, in terms of the incident ray and normal. Okay, for that let us consider this is incident ray now. So let I cap be the unit vector along the incident ray, r cap be the unit vector along the reflected ray, and n cap be the unit vector along the normal, and t cap be the unit vector along the surface. Okay, let we assume it only. Okay, I cap is unit vector along the incident ray, r cap unit vector along the reflected ray, n cap unit vector along the normal, t cap unit vector along the surface. Okay, and we know let this angle is taken as theta, that is angle of incident is theta. Okay, we know that angle of reflection is also theta na? Okay, now this I cap and r cap can be written in terms of unit vectors n cap and t cap. Okay, for that let us see. Value of mod I cap is equal to mod r cap is equal to mod n cap is equal to mod t cap. All these are unit vectors now. The magnitudes of unit vector is always equal to 1 or not. Okay, so anywhere if you got these values, just these are replaced by 1 only. Clear? Now this incident ray just extended here like this. So this is normal now and this is incident ray now. So if the angle between I and n cap is theta, then from the property of vertical opposite angle, this angle is also theta or not? Okay, from the property of vertical opposite angles, if it is theta, this is also theta or not. Now see here, this is incident ray na? Okay, and if it is theta, we said this is also theta na? Now I is divided into two components. Along the normal direction, you may written as mod I cap cos theta. Along the surface, mod I cap sin theta na? Understand or not? We just extended this line here. Now at this point O, if it is theta, then this is angle also theta. That's why I cap can be written as along the normal direction mod I cap cos theta, along surface mod I cap sin theta. Like here, see, this is the reflected unit vector r cap, and this is makes an angle theta with the normal. Right now, so along the direction of normal, mod r cap cos theta, perpendicular component, mod r cap sin theta. Are you understand? Because it is the angle, no? So this is the angle. So along the normal direction, mod r cap cos theta, along surface mod r cap sin theta. Clear? So now you can write I cap formula. What is the formula for I cap? I cap can be written as mod I cap cos theta. Which direction? In the negative direction of normal. That's why minus n cap. Next, this is a positive direction now. So plus mod I cap sin theta into along the direction of surface. Unit vector is t cap. So now I cap can be written as, what is the value of mod I cap? 1 now. So sin theta into t cap minus cos theta into n cap. Clear? Now let us see for this one. R cap can be written as, in this direction, mod r cap nothing but 1 now. So sin theta into t cap. Next, this is the positive direction. That's why plus cos theta into n cap. Okay, our requirement was r cap in terms of I cap and n cap only. That's why we don't need t cap. Clear? So we can subtract the equation 1 with 2. Then what we got? R cap is equal to sin theta I cap plus cos theta n cap minus sin theta t cap. So these two are cancelled now. Then these two must be added. Then what is the value you got? 2 cos theta into n cap. Are you understand? I subtract the equation 2 and 1. Then we got r cap minus I cap is equal to 2 cos theta into n cap. Here you must be known the value of the cos theta. Then we can found the r cap now. So let us write now. R cap is equal to minus I cap will be taken that side. I cap plus 2 cos theta n cap now. Clear? Now, in order to find the value of cos theta, I am using the dot product. Dot product between the I cap and n cap. Okay. So I cap and n cap. What is the angle of this one? Okay, that's unit vector I cap now. So I cap and n cap. Total angle is 180. Out of that, this is theta. So this angle now becomes 180 minus theta now. So what is the dot product formula? I cap dot n cap is equal to mod I cap mod n cap and cos angle between I cap and n cap. So I cap and n cap angle is 180 minus theta. Is it clear? So I cap dot n cap is equal to mod I cap value 1, mod n cap value also 1. That's why 1 into cos 180 minus theta minus cos theta now. Therefore, what is the value of cos theta now? Minus I cap dot n cap. So this value of cos theta substitute here. Then what is the value of r cap you got? I cap minus 2 into I cap dot n cap into n cap. You must remember this final formula. Okay, for all numerical purpose, you just remember this formula only. So, what is the vector analysis of loss of reflection? R cap is in terms of I cap minus 2 I cap dot n cap into n cap. Clear now? Understand? Okay, please note it down. And here I cap, n cap, r cap, all three are coplanar vectors na. Whenever all three are in coplanar vectors, their box means I cap, n cap, r cap box is always equal to the 0. Okay, box of I cap, n cap, r cap is 0 because all the three vectors are in coplanar. Clear? So in vector analysis, you must remember this formula and this formula for numerical purpose. Clear? Please note it down. Okay. In the next section, we discuss some numericals related to these two formulas. Okay. Thank you.